the Digidestined you all forgot about. Many people are excited over the fact that Digimon is back. With the reboot of Digimon Adventure taking some very unexpected turns, it's nice to see a refreshing take on the old characters. I mean, look, here in episode 38, Gabumon just gets fucking crucified. Isn't that a pretty crazy direction for the series to go in? Yes. Yes, it is. Still, it brings to our attention all of the Digidestined from the other series, whether that's Takuya from Frontier, Takato from Tamers, Davis from O2, or what have you, but there's one Digidestined that a lot of people forget about, and his name is Willis. Let's go back here, dear audience, to the year 2000. After everyone's done filling their bathtubs with water and pretending like the world was going to end, we all had a nice laugh about that whole Y2K thing and decided to go to the movies and watch our favorite Digimon characters on the big screen. Thank God! Digimon the movie starts exactly how you would expect it to, with black and white cutout French-Canadian animation of a girl named Angela Anaconda also excitedly waiting in line to watch the Digimon movie. I mean, it's the full experience right there, isn't it? I was just in line and now this character I don't care about from this other Fox Kids show I don't watch is also waiting in line to watch Digimon? That's basically worth the price of admission right there. But after Angela Anaconda digivolves into Angelamon and defeats the giant monster version of Ninipoo, an actual good movie starts.
The Digivolution is up and running. Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know what's coming?
Digimon the movie is primarily made out of 3 shorter Digimon movies that aired in Japanese theaters. If you're not familiar with Toei Animation and Toei Studios, they would sometimes release short-form movies in the theater, just little half-hour segments that you could go watch that either tied into the shows that they were currently airing, or were used to promote new upcoming franchises. With that in mind, the first one of these segments is the latter. The first section, Digimon Adventure, shows Tai and Kari finding a Digi-Egg inside their computer that then appears in the real world. Kari comments that while this is happening, they didn't know it at the time, but this kid in America named Willis was getting his own Digimon.
And on the other side of the world, Willis was getting his Digi-Egg at the exact same time.
Digimon is the plural of Digimon. What I'm trying to say here is Willis gets 2 Digimon. Gee, Willis, why does your mom let you have 2 Digimon? So, the story of Digimon Adventure, the first third of the Digimon movie, is that Digimon are things that can evolve and get bigger, and Greymon fights a bird. Cool, whatever, I guess. This is referenced heavily in both Season 1 and 2 of the show, so it's impossible to discredit the movie as being non-canon.
Greymon! He was fighting with a bird like Digimon! After the fight, they disappeared!
Which is interesting considering they referenced the movie long before American audience would be able to see it. Either they didn't know how to change the dub for this section of the series, or they had already planned on bringing the movie over. The second section, titled Our War Game, barely mentions Willis at all and is therefore stupid and boring. I don't know, there's like some internet thing and War Greymon and Metal Garurumon Kiss or something, nothing too substantial. The only passing lip service we get is Izzy telling Tai that his American friend Willis is telling him about Diaboromon. You see, Willis had a thought. You know what's better than 2 Digimon? 3 Digimon! And thus decides to create a Digi-Egg on his computer. Before the egg could hatch, it was attacked by a computer virus and eventually turned into the information-stealing mega level we all know to have sent 2 missiles towards Japan, the first of which diffused and crashed in Hawaii, and the second very nearly crashing into Tai's apartment where he and Izzy are fighting against Diaboromon through the power of Skype and online gaming.
If this thing is so dangerous, maybe we should call someone important like the principal or Bill Gates or
They
someone.
won't listen. That kid Willis warned his internet carrier about the new Digimon. They said, great, let's sign him up and give him 50 free hours.
No, that's actually what happened. Mimi was vacationing in Hawaii and the first missile, they both came from America. The first one was diffused and crashed like on the fucking, like in the ocean right in front of Mimi at the beach in Hawaii. Omnimon shoves a sword through the virus-infected Digimon's head and the day is saved, disarming the missiles. As we all know, things we put out into the internet can never truly be deleted, and the virus that had infected Willis's new Digi-Egg finds a way to work in offline mode and infects one of Willis's current Digimon. The third and final section of this movie is where our boy Willis gets to shine. His Digimon Kokomon, now infected with the Diaboromon virus, is out of control. Kokomon is now a champion-level Digimon who, according only to the credits and subtitles as now Wendigomon, is using some crazy powerful Digimon powers to turn back the clock and starts making the original adventure heroes disappear. Now it's wait, that doesn't happen. Not in the American, no, not in the, that was a plot point in the Japanese release, but it doesn't happen at all in the American release.
What do you mean it doesn't happen in the American release?
There's no one disappearing.
But then, what was the impetus of the fight? Like, what Like, why did they go over there then?
They went to America to visit. They went. Kari and TK went to New York to visit Mimi, who was living there at the time.
Alright, let's keep going.
You just want me to read the inaccuracy?
No, I was going to leave in the part where you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't happen.
Oh, okay. Cool. Now it's up to Davis, Cody, Yoli, TK, and Kari to team up with Willis in order to take down Kokomon. Remember when I said that Willis had 2 Digimon? You remember Terriermon as being from that other inferior Digimon show, Tamers, or Digimon Season 3 as we saw it in America? The Terriermon that Willis has is not as easygoing as the one from Season 3, however. Partly due to his twin brother Kokomon being such an asshole. Terriermon's champion form, Gargamon, first shows up in this movie, and we can tell from Willis's commenting on his form, this implies that Willis saw how powerful Kokomon had become and didn't want Terriermon to do the same thing. It's sort of how Henry perceived his own Digimon and Tamers. Willis and Davis end up working together throughout the movie and teach each other more about Digimon. With Davis being a thick-headed fucking simpleton, but teaches Willis, hey, maybe if I just do what the plot says, I can leave this stupid Japanese kid and be by myself again. Here's where shit gets weird. Kokomon has skipped right past its ultimate form, and is now Cherubimon, the main bad guy from Digimon Season 4. And all the kids start getting younger and younger. TK and Kari get their Angel Digimon to go into Mega level also, so now we have Seraphimon and Magnadramon.
Come on, we have to Digivolve to our Mega form so we can release the Golden Digi-Eggs!
Seraphimon and Cherubimon are both Celestial Digimon, and both from Season 4. You may remember that Lopmon also shows up in the new Digimon Adventure reboot series, and tells the heroes of their time as Cherubimon, and about the other holy Digimon being Patamon and Gatomon. The fact that Gatomon becomes Magnadramon instead of Ophanimon here seems like a missed opportunity in retrospect, but it's fine. It's fine, this is fine. The 2 angels use their holy power to summon forth the Golden Digi-Eggs. If you want to know more about Armor Digivolving, we have a whole video on how strong is Vmon you can find by clicking here. But to sum it up, if you have a Digi-Egg that looks fucked up, you can use it to become a different and stronger Digimon. In the case of Vmon, he becomes Magnamon, and in the case of Terriermon, he becomes Rapidmon. You know, Rapidmon, who is his actual ultimate level form also, but this one is golden in color. Golden Rapidmon. The power of both Golden Digimon is just enough. That's actually also not what happens. He doesn't revert into vaccine type until after they destroy the virus inside of him.
Fucking, you saw me write this script at a breakneck pace. Man, I don't know.
Yep, I didn't want to cut your flow. I didn't want to cut your flow, okay?
Alright, so what happens in the Digimon movie?
What happens is he fucking eats Magnamon and Rapidmon.
Oh, I guess I blocked the vor part of the movie out of my mind.
He eats them, and the inside of him is so corrupted, it's just these purple and pink swirls with Wendigomon like being inside of him, and they have to blow up Wendigomon, which is the virus representation of that part of him. Then he turns into vaccine then he turns into vaccine Cherubimon, or, you know, the actual Celestial Cherubimon, and he turns everything back to normal, and then he fades away into a Digi-Egg.
So, I guess my question is, if the entire point of the English dub was to try to bridge all 3 movies together, would it not have made the most fucking sense to have them go inside of Cherubimon, and instead of Wendigomon, they just see Diaboromon?
That would be a lot of editing, Brian.
Right, but Wendigomon inside of Cherubimon only shows up for like 30 seconds. I understand it would be a lot of editing, but they spent most of the budget on, like, we're the kids in America.
Well,
and it's not like they weren't doing original animation for the movie anyway, considering the entire Angela Anaconda segment was made for the Digimon movie.
But that was an original creation, not an edit of original material.
You said that the inside of Cherubimon was just like swirly colors. You're telling me they couldn't just copy the swirly color background and then just put whatever they want there? They could have. But
all of the footage they used that wasn't for Angela Anaconda, it was straight from Toei. They didn't edit it in any way besides cutting stuff out and changing the lines to meet their narrative. So if they had added an entirely new segment Say what?
And they cut out Japanese text and replaced it with English, and they cut out some of the English text because the original Japanese didn't know, like, the street signs.
Okay, fair. But also, in order to do that, they would have only been able to... They couldn't have created new Diaboromon stuff. They would have had to edit out footage from our war games to, you know, make it look like they were going ham on Diaboromon to kill him. But I have a feeling if 2000s level Fox Kids would have gotten their hands on it, there would have been like stock realistic explosions when they blew up Diaboromon inside of Cherubimon, and that would have just been like dumb.
I'm just like, there's so many different ways that you could have edited this to bridge part 2 into part 3 more. Part 2 has like barely anything, and part 2 is what they kept advertising with.
The movie event you've been waiting for is coming to theaters this fall.
All right!
Because nobody liked Season 2. I liked Season 2.
Okay to be wrong, I also liked Season 2 until I grew up to be a fucking decently functioning adult.
Well, let's not go too far.
Willis sends one of his Digimon, basically a surrogate child, out to kill his other surrogate child. This is like a fucking Greek tragedy over here. This sort of thing is completely unthinkable to have a full man, let alone a child. This is completely insane. Anyway, the movie ends with Willis on a payphone. Wow, this was really made more than 20 years ago, huh? Talking to Davis on the other side of the world. And some narration from Kari explains that Digimon don't really die, they just get reverted back to Digi-Eggs and are reborn again. Willis cries when he finds Kokomon's Digi-Egg floating in the water near the payphone, and it is a beautiful moment. Anyway, the Digidestin all you fuckers forgot about was Ryo. Ryo shows up in Season 2 of Digimon Adventure and fights alongside Ken, before Ken ends up getting the Dark Spore in the back of his neck. Ryo also showed up in a major role near the end of Tamers, where he ends up biomerging with his Digimon to become a Kamen Rider named Justimon. Ryo is the main character of the WonderSwan games. But fuck Ryo, I wanted to talk about Willis. Willis is way cooler. Let me know your favorite Digimon down in the comments, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe.